Welcome back, everybody, to Ravenstar's Witching Hour. I'm your host, Solaris BlueRaven, and I'm here with JerryB. We were going to recruit a few more people for a panel tonight. We're doing something a little different tonight on hour two. And, of course, prior that was Helen Downs, so check her out. I did put her link to her book in the chat room, so you guys are free to check it out. So I have JerryB with me right now. I was looking for Dory. I don't see her online. Cindola, if you want to hop on, let us know, and we'll pull you in. We're going to discuss a few things tonight. But, Jerry, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty chill tonight. It's just kind of relaxing in the illusion of time and space, right? So
yeah, that's a real trip coming through that. That server was really acting funny. It's okay now though.
Well, I reset it. Yeah, I couldn't tell it was garbled, so I'm glad you let us all know that was going on, because it's hard to say, what it's doing here. But I think a lot of it's energetic, a lot of transmission stuff going on. Plus, where her location is too. She's had some Skype issues in the past. So, but yeah.
I think this was the server itself. It's okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to have you on. So everybody, Jerry's cloaked a lot, but it's good to have JerryB on here. Of course, he used to produce for Dr. Falkoff in a past life, right?
Oh, yeah. I used to produce for...
But anyways, right? Well, go ahead. Well, it's good to have you on, Jerry. It's good to have you
on Falco, correct. 5 days a week.
That's right. So it's always good to have... Jerry shows up like the shadow. He appears, and you never know when he's going to turn up, and it's always nice. But I know you have something you've been working on, and I'd like to hear it, and I'd like to have everybody else take a good listen for it, or to it, rather. So you want to tell us about what you've been doing?
Yeah, I've been poking at writing songs again for a while and doing some other things, and I really got tied down with a lot of other personal issues with everybody else. So I had somebody. In fact, that somebody was you. Told me the other day I need to get out there and finish this song I've been writing. So I'd written the song out of my sleep. It's basically written when I get up in the morning. I would think thoughts, and I say, well, that sounds like it fits in the song somewhere. So I'd write a thought down and just kind of categorize it and put it all together. Then finally, I got enough stuff there that I said, well, let me assemble this and see what it's trying to say. So I wrote this song basically coming right out of my sleep. That's, I didn't sit down and try to write it, just what came into my mind that day. And I put the song together, and I put the music together, and I finished the lyrics probably 6 months ago. But what I do is I do a spec demo on it, and a rough demo with me singing. But I can't sing. I can't breathe because I smoke too much. But I do it anyway so that I can get an idea of what I got. And then I get somebody else to sing it and go from there.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
But if you'd like to hear it, I can play it for you.
Yeah, this would be a debut, so I'm really excited for everybody to take a good listen to it. And of course, I've heard it before, and I still think it sounds like it could be a really good country song. It needs a guitar, but that's my own feedback.
Well, excuse my voice, but anyways, here it is.
Standing tall and holding on to high ground, far too few of us alone. People lost and slowly losing insight of what's wrong and what's just not right. Through down this lonely stretch of highway, with no sign of help along the way. Stand with me, the future lies in our hands. This could be the last fall of man. Spirits rising, hear the thunder. It's nature's way of changing course. Spirits rising on a journey, ascending back to source. Children born, awake and going nowhere. At a time nobody cares, without hope, no reason to remain. Trust your heart, in time truth will show. It's alright as spirits that we all are to go home, back among the stars. Spirits rising, hear the thunder. It's nature's way of changing course. Spirits rising on a journey, ascending back to source. Spirits rising, feel the power. This time it's more than just a sign. Spirits rising, take me higher, transcending all of time.
Very nice, Jerry B. And you know what? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. It was interesting because I was kind of breaking up on my end. I'm hoping that everybody heard it okay. But I think it's a really nice song.
Well, thank you.
And I think you sound great. So,
Well,
yeah.
I'm not a singer. I never pretended to be. I used to be.
Right. So you had a career in the music industry for a while there, right?
Yeah, I played in a band early on, many places. I didn't smoke. I didn't have a thyroid operation. I mean, I had a really good voice back then.
Yeah.
And we had lots of three and 4 part harmonies, and had a lot of fun at it. We played a lot of the LSAC shows for Danny Thomas, and it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Right. What was the name of the band?
It was called the Solo Society.
Cool. Very nice.
Yeah, everybody used to mistake it and call us the Soul Society. I'd say, yeah, that's us, because I didn't like the name.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the Soul Society, that's it.
Well, that sounds pretty good too. I like that name.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know you and I touched base with some other things off air with I don't know if I want to say it, but anyways, it's really interesting. But you do have an extensive background in music and writing and playing music. So I did want to highlight you tonight and kind of have you come out and share. I was going to get a few other people out here tonight. I don't know where they are. They're off the radar. I don't know, Jerry, if you're up for anybody coming in or calling in. This is kind of a relaxed second hour. What I'm doing is just kind of, we're going to talk some things about spirit, consciousness, and also, Jerry, I don't know if you want to share your incident that happened to you, which I found really fascinating. If you're up for talking about it, you're free to kind of share.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just a last little thing on that song. The song was inspired from what's happening around me. It's like it just came falling out of the ether. I didn't try to do anything. That's just what came out. And when I put it all together, that's what it is. So some people will connect with it and maybe some won't, but we'll see. We'll see. I write for myself anyways. I write because I love to write. I write songs. But if I come up with something that I think that might be, this is a little different than what I usually do.
No, I liked it. I really do. Like I said, if I had to change anything in it, and this is just me, I would put a guitar in there and make it a little more country. And I also think it would make a really nice country song for some reason. But your lyrics are really nice, and they're very enlightened. It's not just this regular mundane garbage that you hear in mainstream these days where, they talk about nothing, basically. And now you have depth. I mean, there's so much happening here on the timeline where we have to use the right verbiage, the right words to associate with really what's happening here. So I think it's really awesome. And I've heard other things that you've done. And then you've put some things together for me in the past, and I really appreciate that for my hyperspace. You've done some promos with that, and I really appreciate that. So
it's all good. It's all fun.
It's great. Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to share, I don't know what you're going to do with that particular song. Are you planning on releasing it? Are you going to remix it, or what are you going to do?
Oh, I'm just. Well, I'll probably find somebody to sing it, and then go and do a. I have some numbness in my two fingers on my left hand, so it's hard for me to play the guitar now. So I might have to get somebody else to put a rhythm guitar in.
Nice.
and then mix it all together. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I haven't
Well,
even
I think it has
considered it.
potential, honestly. There are a lot of people out there in the industry and music that just don't sing well. They can't write. And when I hear that song, I just think it can go in so many different directions. I think somebody out there would really appreciate singing that song. So I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. If people are listening, I think it's a really good tune. So hopefully, if people want to get in touch with you, how can they do that, Jerry? Are you cloaked? Are you invisible?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so if people really do want to contact you, is there a way they can do that?
Yeah, they can contact me on Skype, CAD50, CADD50.
Excellent. Well, thank you. And for those of you who don't know, Jerry's kind of cloaked a lot, and he's always around, but he's always been a real strong energy for the station. He's been very supportive of Revolution Radio. He's done a lot of good work here, and he's very quiet about it. And I just want to say thank you, Jerry, because you've been a really nice pulse in the heartbeat of this station. So thank you. That's from me.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So as he cloaks, I'm going to start calling him the Shadow. So.
I got a good one here for you though that happened last Tuesday night. I've been going outside smoking now instead of in the house, and I was out on the patio. I think it was around 11:30 or so. And I'm sitting there smoking and looking at the squirrels running through the trees and the dogs sitting there. And all of a sudden I looked over to the left. I had a light on in the hallway going down into the basement. And I thought I saw somebody walk out of the bathroom down the stairs. And I said, gee, that was weird. Who was that? My son-in-law? And it kind of struck me funny because I thought my daughter and him were in bed and all the kids were in bed. And that's really strange. So I went ahead and finished up the cigarette and I went into the house and I went into the bathroom. So I went to the right, went into the bathroom, did my thing. Then I came out and it hit me. I said, that looked like me going down the stairs. Blue T-shirt, gray hair. I said, the kids everybody's in bed. How could that be? That actually looked like me going down the stairs. And I'm starting to freak out a little bit here. And so I turned around before I went down the steps. I turned around just for the heck of it and looked out on the patio to see if I could see me looking at me. And I didn't, but I got this real chill going through me. I said, that was really strange. It was almost like I was ahead of myself. And yet I was treating myself at the same time. Now, I don't know what the deal is, but I went downstairs and there was nobody down getting laundry up there. Everybody was asleep. So it was just a really strange phenomena that happened. I can't explain it, but it was indeed strange.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's very unusual. And I've touched base with a woman before on my show, on my hyperspace show, and we were talking about bilocating and also her ability to photograph people who are multidimensionally. Actually, she can catch their etheric body and their multidimensional bodies. They're starting to get more and more bleed through from a different reality that's connecting in because we are multidimensional and we do exist simultaneously. And when you talked to me about this before, I was thinking to myself, it's almost like bilocation to some degree because it was an aspect of you. And at first I thought, well, maybe it was somebody like a spirit or a ghost, but this was you because you said you were wearing the same shirt, right?
Yeah. It looked like me from behind.
That's pretty wild. Yeah,
because I glanced because I seen something moving over there and I had the light on and there was no shade there yet. So I could see right in through the door window. And it was like whoever it was had just turned or 3/4. So I could just see the kind of like the side and the back of their head. It looked like me and had the same blue T-shirt on. And I'm going, oh my gosh, that's really strange.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It was almost like it was me out of sync, like I keep hearing everybody say that time is an illusion. It really doesn't, there is no time. And that we live different lives in different dimensions at the same time. And I start thinking about all this. I said, that must have been me.
Mm-hmm.
just slightly out of sync or something.
Right. Well, that's why it's so important to have your multidimensional bodies lined up on a simultaneous level. But I agree. I think that there was something going on there. And time is a benchmark of measure, whether people want to accept that or not. There's no such thing as time and distance. It doesn't exist. It's about consciousness and motion, as you well know. So when you get experiences like that, I mean, that to me is very significant. I would keep track of that because something's going on with your subtle energy field and your four-body system, and pay attention to that. I'd say just keep an eye on that one. I don't know which direction you want to go, but something's happening here. Another thing is, people are so caught up in the linear world, they're not paying attention to where their multidimensional design is. And that's huge because we need to bring those facets and components into our being, into our multidimensional suits, so to speak, so we can line everything up accordingly and have more perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, my next question to myself was, when I did look out the window, if I did see myself sitting there looking at myself, then what do I do?
Well,
do I just ignore it or do I wave? You know what I'm saying?
Do you dive back into your own suit? It's kind of like astral projection, right?
Yeah. Do I go back over there and just kind of bump myself, or do I just stay away,
It's very eerie, Jerry. I've never heard anybody have that experience before. I've had astral projection, a lot of things, but I don't think I've ever seen that. I have seen alternate realities before. I think I told you, and I can touch about this on air, but I've seen where I've been in a room before where I know what the room is like, and then all of a sudden, in lucid space of consciousness, this was before my induction, I would see the room entirely different. Looks like something had happened. It was like 100 years later or 10, 20 years later. Very strange time lapse in the illusion of time and space. So I have had that a lot.
Yeah, well, this is a first for me. And like I said, the only thing I know for sure is I turned my head, something caught my eye, I turned my head, and it appears that I seen somebody that looked like me walking down the stairs. It was just a brief, real brief. I mean, it wasn't long, but everybody else was in bed, and I was sitting out there. So what was it? I don't.
Wow. Yeah, well, keep an eye on that. It wasn't your dog. I know that much.
It did kind of freak me out a little bit. No, my dog isn't that tall.
I know, teasing you. But yeah. Have you ever had an out-of-body experience, Jerry? Have you ever astral traveled?
When I was a kid, I used to astral travel all the time.
So you do have that ability, okay.
And then, I thought everybody did. And then the adults, heard me talking about it, and they just started wagging their finger at me. You shouldn't do that. Somebody's going to come in and take over your body. You stop doing that. That's dangerous. You can't do that. And I'm looking around like, oh, okay,
Fear.
So it just scared me, I said,
Right.
wow, Yeah, they pretty much shut me down.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the programming factor. It's unfortunate because kids are so magical when they're first here on the planet and on the timeline when they incarnate here. They have so many gifts and abilities that are wide open, and then through programming, entrainment, and conditioning, they start to switch off. But they still have the abilities. I mean, they're still there. They just have to reactivate them. That's the whole idea about multidimensional design, is reactivation of that design. And this is why we're talking about deprogramming from the linear world, because it's not natural. It's not the natural world. The natural world is multidimensional. What they call paranormal is not unnatural. Actually, supernatural is what we're supposed to be. We are supernatural beings. We are multidimensional beings. So. And when we have experiences like this, sometimes we think it's really odd, but actually that's the norm. It's the norm to astral travel. It's the norm to be able to remote view. It's the norm to be able to be psychic and control it. So I think it's a fascinating, wonderful multiverse when we embrace it with that type of an understanding.
When I was about, I guess up to about 10 or 11 years at night, I'd be dreaming I'd be out on the sidewalk and I'd go running really fast, and then I'd put my arms out and I'd not like Superman, but up to the side and up, and I would just go right to the sky and into space, and and I would go everywhere, I'd do that almost every night until the adults told me that it's dangerous.
The parental units, that's what I
thought everybody did that,
Right. Yeah.
To me, it was the most natural thing in the world. But the way I did it is I run really fast and I put my arms out and I'd leap up in the air and I'd take off. I don't know if that was procedure or that's the way that worked for me or if, I just don't know. But I know I used to do it almost every night when I was a kid.
Right. And that's another thing we do when we transfer and we go to the next level, but that's just a continuation in consciousness. The whole idea behind people think death is just the end of everything, but really it's just a continuation of where we're heading. on another dimensional space. But what I find interesting with the timeline right now with Ascension is that we do get to take our bodies with us. I mean, this is really truly what Ascension is about. You're getting your DNA activated through multidimensional design, through the frequencies of the multiverse. And as this happens, you're actually able to ascend onto multidimensional levels where you do have these avatar abilities and where you can do these things. And your body can heal and repair itself and then repair its DNA. So I think this is really big that people start understanding this isn't New Age. This is actually what's really supposed to be happening on a multiversal level, what they call the galactic wave. I call it the Ascension waves, riding those Ascension waves and getting out your surfboard and knowing how to navigate. But you do see the polarization. I mean, we can see the dark tide that they've created in opposition to what we're supposed to be doing as spiritual beings. And to me, I address that dark tide with a fierce tongue sometimes, as you well know. So I can be that dragon.
Yeah, I noticed lately that they're really working hard at trying to take anything that's ethical or decent or spiritual away from people because they don't want kids to have an identity as a male or a female. They want to, I guess they're just supposed to be it's. They want kids all going to the same bathrooms as boys and girls. And, whatever they can do to drag the spirit in the mud seems to be the going thing nowadays. And that's why I say that's what I think inspired me to kind of write those. You do have kids coming into this world that they don't have a chance unless we do something here because.
Yeah, you're right, Jerry.
In a world that nobody cares,
I agree. They don't have a chance because they're being entrained, conditioned, drugged, programmed, vaccinated. They're being molested. They're being harmed. They're being programmed with lies and deception. They don't understand history or truth. Everything is. I feel so sorry for the children that are being born right now on the timeline. And unless people actually start looking around and making a change, there's no place for them to go. When people tell me the children are the future, they have to be out of their minds. Absolutely not. You know what? You can't delegate it onto a child that just arrived on the planet when you have nothing but chaos here. It's just not okay. So yeah, I agree with you, Jerry. I think there's some things that need to be addressed. And of course, Ascension does take care of that. It does weed everything out accordingly. But in the meantime, it's true. It's kind of like, it's just like this dysfunctional madness, this what I call the brain virus that's happening globally, that's contaminating everybody. It's causing this dysfunctional patterning. And then where I come from with the covert technology, and I know what they're capable of with their directed energy weapons and the destruction they cause and the harm they cause and the damage they do to people's brains. Serious damage that's provable through MRIs and all sorts of X-rays. I have people that contact me all the time with evidence. And this is all due to covert intelligence assault technology. So yeah, don't get me started with that. But yeah, I mean, it's, I can laugh about it to some degree, but at the same time, it's unfortunate and it didn't have to go in this direction. And that's why I do want you to play your song again towards the end of the show, because I think it's really about understanding what the bigger scenery and the bigger picture is about. And this is through how you address it, through your sound, through your music, through lyrics. In the old days, bands used to know how to write. Lyrics were really important. And if you didn't have the right lyrics, the song would suck, in the illusion of, excuse my French. And even if you had good music, it doesn't matter if the lyrics are bad. So I think what happened to poetry, what happened to that poetry emotion, what happened to the people who were poets? I wrote poetry for a very long time. I know how to write. I know how to write music. I wrote classical music. I never did anything with it. So I do understand the language and the universal harmonic of music and how it affects people, even through healing.
Yeah.
It's really powerful.
Well, the wars that they talk about, the physical wars they're bad, but the war on the mind, the spirit is just relentless right now.
Yeah, soul torturing.
Yeah. And those people that go missing in the national parks, they don't even have a list. They have a list, but they won't share it. They don't care if they went missing.
Right. Yeah, that's been going on for a long time, by the way.
That's the part that gets me. I mean, it's bad enough that if somebody does something, if somebody's done wrong, it should be righted. But the fact that they don't even care, now that's the really scary part to me.
Right. Well, they don't care because they know they're part of the problem and not the solution. I mean, that's the reason that covert technology doesn't get addressed with the psychotronics and the artificial telepathy. They're using it for their own advantage, which is why they don't want to put it out there. If everybody knew what I knew, there would be riots in the streets. I can guarantee you that much. They would be protesting out at D.C. right now. But they don't understand yet. They haven't been calibrated or inducted into it, and they won't. But like I said earlier, I just saw that article. I mentioned it. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing when they're talking about this future of Facebook is telepathy, reveals Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, really? After where I've been with that technology and how I testified and what I know about that technology and what it's done to my life and the people involved in that? Really, guy? you better have a talk with me before you start that crap. So, and I won't say anything more. You know how I can get, Jerry.
Yeah, I
I'm
do.
nice as can be, man, but you fire me up and that's it. Hit the deck.
Yeah, I've seen you fired up a few times.
Yep. And I just go fast forward and you don't know where I go. That's it, man.
Well,
Yeah.
you're a straightforward person. You don't pull punches. Another thing about the parks, though, I noticed that they mentioned, and we had what 3 or 4 interviews of the same guy that was hit the different stations. And
Yeah.
one of the things that interested me was that even though they had searched certain areas like 20 times, some of the people who were found, some of them were found in those areas that had already been searched numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me there could have been some type of a portal or shift there going on.
Right. Well, there's anomalous activity. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing that kind of struck me too about that when I heard the interview.
I agree with you, Jerry. Well, let me tell you something. Before I was inducted in 2004, when I was doing a lot of light body DNA activation, and I was already activated, I was doing the healing work on other people, I would have my vibratory rate so high that actually I was able to phase shift to a point where, I'm not kidding you, I was literally almost at that level of really phasing my body to another dimensional space and taking it with me. I actually had to literally touch my husband a few times to come back because everything would start to phase around me. Literally, the molecular breakdown would start to happen. I know this sounds wild, but everything started to shift in vibration. I was getting that high in frequency. And that does happen. And when that happens, your surroundings start to vibrate. And I'm sure some of you who have had DNA activation and understand light body understand exactly what I'm talking about, because things start to vibrate right before your eyes and shift right before your eyes because your DNA is altering and your frequency is altering in resonance with a higher dimensional grid. And that does happen. Now, with all this stuff happening with the soul and the multidimensional ascension descending onto the planet with all these frequencies, you know that there's gateways opening up. You know that things are being activated. You know that there's a lot happening with the bleed-through effect, which can create an anomalous signature, especially in national parks and things like that, where there's more nature-oriented and less people. I would suspect that's a real strong indicator that could be going on. I don't discount that at all.
Yeah.
Not at all, Jerry. I just had that woman on my show just the other day talking about the vortexes and how powerful they are. And when you start working around these natural vortexes, you get lightheaded and some people get very nauseous and sick. Well, that's light body. That's because you're merging with higher dimensional energies and frequencies, and it's calibrating your body and you're detoxifying. And sometimes when you detoxify, you vomit, you get sick, you purge, however that goes. So that happens. Cellular detox all the time through frequency. That's the stuff we're talking about. People don't realize that there's so many things, that some of the symptoms they get health-wise, well, yeah, we're being hit with contaminants, but there's also other things happening on an energetic scale that you have to look at.
Yeah, I've noticed more and more too since I've been going outside smoking now that sometimes I'll go out there and before I even light one up, I'll start sneezing. And I'm thinking, wow, why am I sneezing? I'm outside. And maybe it's the chemtrails.
Well, those things are noxious as all hell. And, I've had Russ Tanner on here, and he's wonderful about, exposing that stuff for what it really is. And I see it all the time. We get slammed here where I live all the time. And it's horrific. I look at some of these runners outside, and I used to love to run outside, man. You can't get me to run outside with that crap. You really can't. It's not healthy. I don't care what people say. I mean, it's really contaminating, and there's an agenda behind it, obviously. So like I said before, they're trying to sabotage the light body, the light conscious design, independent thought, spirituality, higher consciousness, anything that separates you and is allowing you to become a full light avatar, they are threatened of. And they're pushing and trying everything they can think of to control and manipulate. And I'll tell you point blank, guys, don't surrender to it. Don't let these guys bring you down. Do not allow that. It's a dead end to nowhere.
Yeah, they're definitely pushing real hard to break the spirit. But I got news for them. I don't think that they're powerful enough to do it.
No, they're not. Well, the multiverse isn't on their side. The thing is, there are source energies. We were just talking about the source energy with Helen.
Right.
There are more powerful forces out there and species out there that they could possibly comprehend that they're terrified of. It's not the game that they're playing in the multiverse. This whole thing they're doing here on this timeline doesn't even exist in the multiverse. So what they're doing here is imploding. It's imploding, and you can see it imploding before your eyes. Everything's collapsing. Everything. And that's because it's out of control. And then they have the New World Order, which is the No World Order. These guys are going nowhere. I have news for them. Whatever they've conjured out of their wannabe ritual or whatever they've been doing, it's going flatlined. It's flatlining big time. So, hey, and the only people they'll be able to control are the weak. That's it. But if you get really strong souls out there who understand consciousness and have a real solid connection to the multiverse, we're going to say no. We're not dealing with you anymore. We're done with this illusion. And that's what I mean by just crashing out the false matrix, slamming it to the ground and getting rid of it completely and allowing these multidimensional designs to connect in. That's what we're designed to do. We're designed to ascend. We're not designed to be switched off. You want to live like a zombie your entire life? I mean, and that's what most people are doing. A lot of them are.
Yeah, I spent most of my life working for somebody else and making other people, corporations, rich. And I thought that's what you do. You go out, you get the best job you can do, you take care of your family. But what I realized about halfway through is that I don't have time to do anything that I want to do. I'm so busy just trying to keep my head above water and provide that I'm not really living, I'm existing. And then I started to get angry. I said, why did I buy into this?
Right. That's why.
Yeah, it's a process. It's like the adults that told me that it's dangerous to astral travel. Well, you should protect yourself, I'm sure, but what a little kid's doing, he's not out there causing trouble or something. He's just taking off at night and coming back in the morning,
Well, another thing you have to realize that even though they're children in the illusion of small bodies, they're souls, and souls are immortal. Souls have ancient heritage. A soul can be very old, like beyond 26 billion years old, plus or minus, in the illusion of time and space. I mean, you're talking about multiversal consciousness, which is infinite and very ancient in memory. So even though you see a suit of a body and you think, oh, it's just a meat body. Yeah, it's a meat suit. Not really. Cellular design, soul activity, soul dissension, soul consciousness is very ancient and infinite. And that's the heritage that they have been lied about. They literally have forgotten their cellular celestial heritage. That's really big, Jerry. When people don't understand who they are as multidimensional beings, as souls, as spirits, as consciousness, then they get lost in this whole false matrix and linear program where it's nothing but deception. It's a dead end to nowhere. It's noxious. And what I've noticed is that they're just feeding. They're like parasites. These people are feeding off the life force of everybody who's working their butts off for just trying to make a living in the illusion of space and time. So that's why I was addressing it earlier. I've paid my dues a billion times over. Are you kidding me? Working for the illusion and then being self-employed. And then, of course, having that induction and then my life ruined and just pretty much erased by a bunch of imbeciles who never, ever had anything they never answered to their crime. They're still at large. That's infuriating as all hell, watching that crap go down. These people are out there who are perpetrators and they're wandering around and they're making more money. Where's the justice? But the universe has the final ending card. And it's a serious card for these people. There's a price to pay for this kind of game that they're playing on the timeline. It's called extinction. And for those, and I've mentioned this before. I guarantee it, Jerry.
They're enjoying what they've done because it ain't going to last.
It's not going to last. And the bottom line is when you go out of your way to do that kind of damage to somebody's life for your own personal issues, you better be prepared to handle the repercussions about it. And even if you skate away with your crooked governments and your organized crime and syndicates and everything else, there's something you have to answer to that you can't control. And if you can't play that card, you go extinct. There's not even you get to be reborn. You get to reincarnate. You get to go back and live it again. No. Not this time around. This is the end game. This is what I mean, Jerry. On this timeline right now with Ascension, it's like you either pass or you fail. And when you fail, you don't get to go to a nice little hell and play with your friends. You go extinct. And that's what's going to happen. Mark my words. I understand the multiverse very well. So that's what I understand is the end card to these guys with these orders and these divisions who think they're that in a bag of chips and a Snickers bar. I have the final card on them, and I understand very clearly where they're heading. They're not going to like it. So, and I've mentioned this before a few times over. I think I even put it on a witch file, if I'm not mistaken. But if those of you who don't know, I have a YouTube channel. So I don't advertise. I have such a serious laugh.
So how's your book coming along?
I know, Jerry. I'm working on it. I've got a few more chapters, and I have some other ones lined up. For those of you who don't know, my book's almost finished, my science fiction book, which is actually a spin-off of the induction I went through in 2004. So it's actually about some of the things that I've been exposed to on a technological scale that I decided to put into a science fiction book, just because I liked it. And I thought
it sounds like it's going to be really cool. I can't wait.
The interesting part of it is it's exactly right now what's happening on the timeline. In other words, I didn't plan it that way, but everything that's in that book is exactly what's happening here. Mm-hmm. So I think in the end game, it's almost prophetic on a lot of different levels. This book will be very deep and in depth. And a lot of people will get it. I'm sure they will. So, but it just gears you for the next level of where we're heading on a multidimensional level, which we've already ascended to some degree. I know you get it. I know the listeners get it.
I get it.
Yeah. It's kind of like I get the feeling sometimes, it just seems to me like there's so much gravity here right now that it seems to me like we really do need this shift even more powerfully. We need more power of it, more power. How do I say it? More of the energy connecting down to the planet. We actually need to be really blasted, in my opinion, with energy. I just saw this thing on Elon Musk wanting to nuke Mars, by the way. Did you see that?
I heard somebody talk about it briefly today.
I don't know who's calling. Jerry, do you want me to answer that or no?
Sure, why not?
Okay, we'll drop you if you're rude, but I'm letting you in. Hello? Yes, you're live on air, 917.
Yeah.
Hi.
That's me. C'est moi.
Hello there. Is this
me?
Is that Cindy?
Yeah, it is.
How are you doing there? I didn't recognize your number because you're on my Skype usually.
Well, I don't know. All those numbers are, as you know, an illusion.
That's okay. It's good to hear from you. I invited you on. I was looking for Dory. I don't know where she went, but we were inviting her on.
Dory's. Oh, well, see, all us avatars are attracted to you. Right. Like,
well, we're all existing.
Moths around a flame.
You're so cute. How are you doing?
I'm kind of fried, actually. I had a long series of trips, and I'm in New York City, the Babylon Man. So,
wow.
Half dead from New York City.
Wow.
Right.
Did you hear Jerry's song?
I heard that Jerry was on the air, and I was like a moth to a flame.
Did you hear his new song?
Did I hear what?
His new song? Jerry played a new song.
He played a what?
A song, S-O-N-G, song, music.
Oh no, I didn't hear Jerry's song.
Oh, Jerry, you're going to have to load it up again and play it. It's really good. Do you want to load it up now? You guys want to hear it again? For those who haven't heard it, we're gonna have you listen to this, and then you're gonna go to sleep tonight. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, I'm plugging your song tonight, Jerry. Let's play it again. Hang in there, Cindy. Listen to his song.
All right.
Again, I apologize for the terrible voice. I'm not a singer. Let me change my sound card over here real quick.
Yeah, we were breaking up the last time. I'm hoping that it came out okay. We've had some strange audio tonight.
Here we go.
Standing tall and holding on to high ground, for too few of us still around. People lost and slowly losing insight of what's wrong and what's just not right. Traveling down this lonely stretch of highway with no sign of help along the way. Stand with me, the future lies in our hands. This could be the last fall of man. Spirits rising, hear the thunder. It's nature's way of changing course. Spirits rising on a journey, ascending back to source. Children born, awaking, going nowhere, at a time that nobody cares. Without hope, no reason to remain here in a world ruled by greed and fear. Don't concern yourself with things you don't know. Trust your heart, and time truth will show. It's alright as spirits that we all are, to go home, back among the stars. Spirits rising, hear the thunder. It's nature's way of changing course. Spirits rising, feel the power. This time it's more than just a sign. Spirits rising, take me higher, transcending all of time.
Why, thank you, Jerry. And Cindy, what'd you think of that, Sindolo?
Oh, it's great. Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah.
Very, very Johnny Cash-ish.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Great deep voice.
I still think
Yeah,
it would.
All the girls like a deep voice.
Yeah, he can't sing very well either. I agree.
Well, you don't have a bad voice. You can sing, and you're actually singing in key.
I just can't
Jerry-
breathe enough to
Jerry's got a
Well, I
sing.
understand you have respiratory issues. I get it, so don't worry. But you still did a good job, and I like I said, you can polish that up. It's a nice song. It can be polished up.
Well,
And that's a
sure.
rough copy of that.
Yeah, all
actually.
that stuff, believe me, can
Yeah,
be
you realize that
polished
people
up
who
in the software.
Yeah. There's so many people who have lousy voices. They go into the recording studio and they get all these special effects and they sound wonderful. And then you hear them live and it's like, what? It's not even the same person singing. I'm like, what the hell? It's like a duck screaming. So, yeah, anybody can sound
It's much easier these days to make a silk purse out of whatever.
Sowsier.
Make a silk purse out of like anything.
Right? Yeah.
You
no,
don't even need a sow's ear these days.
That's right.
these
Now
days.
it's all about modification, man. You can get anything done. Everybody now, especially now, they just get surgery and
Oh
things.
my God.
It's outrageous, isn't it?
Well, I did want to talk about the chemtrail thing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like a few things about them, but only to the extent that I know nothing. Do you know? When you have to get to it's a long way sometimes, and you have to know a lot about something before you actually realize that you don't know, shiznit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I am with chemtrails. I was in there like from 2005, 2006. I was in like the first wave of like WTFers, and hopped on the available groups, only to find that they were like COINTELPRO, provocateurs. And it was really interesting to see all that up close.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to use upspeak.
Mm-hmm.
I hate upspeak. Do you know what upspeak is? Yeah, it's like where you end your every phrase with a question mark. Anyway. Yeah, so I do know a little bit about it, and mostly what I know about it is that there is this huge, massive disinformation machine at work.
Mm-hmm.
And the people, the spokespeople that you hear prominently are not working for like the truth side. They're like part of the machine. This is what I've seen, and I know whereof I speak. So I'm not going to name any names here, but those like luminaries that make all the talk shows, and you hear them, and they're like, raising funds, and they're in every city doing a tour, and they're on every talk show.
Like the poster boys for certain topics. Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones, not naming any names. You guys figure it out for yourself. But those are the very people that you should be casting an askew glance at,
Mm-hmm.
and wondering what they're up to. So, yeah, I mean, I think anyone that's really been paying attention to this is going to know who those luminaries are. So I'm just saying, like, look into it,
Right.
And as to what's really going on with the chemtrails, I don't know. And it's freaking me out. The more I know, the less I know.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you talk to Russ Tanner, who's been on my show before, he's very knowledgeable about what they're deploying and what kind of noxious chemicals they're using, and it is biochemical.
Oh, I know all of that.
Yeah.
I know all of that, and I don't. he's like one of those guys that's all over the place. And
He's
enough said
actually
about
really.
that.
I like Russ though, and I give him a lot of clout. He's a very good soul, and he's actually really doing the good job. I've done a lot of investigations with him. I understand very clearly where he's coming from, but yeah, there are people out there who do the they have an agenda to some degree, I suppose. But what we're really trying to do is just get the information out there and alert people to the fact that you're supposed to have a blue sky, and you're not supposed to have this crap in your atmosphere, and that it is controlling and manipulating weather patterns. And that's really big right now because we have the drought going on in California. We're expecting a very severe winter, probably nastier than most people realize on the East Coast, and I suspect out here.
Well, when you say that about Tanner, I mean, I listen to you because you're the real deal. So I pay attention to you.
Thank you.
And I think it's interesting that Tanner has sort of broken ranks with some other prominent so-called spokespeople for the chemtrail movement. I don't know about that wet mask thing. Personally, I don't see for myself, and I am sensitive to poisons in the environment, that the chemtrails are so they're pervasive, but they're causing such allergic responses in people. I don't see that. I mean, yeah, I think like trees and goldenrod are still causing the same problems. I don't see that with chemtrails. Not that I think they're good. No. Don't misunderstand me there. But I don't see that that's their purpose. I no longer believe in their the quote unquote they're trying to kill us version of what chemtrails are about.
I mean,
although I don't discount it, but there's something going on that we don't know, and it's not available to us on the internet.
Well,
there's just something else.
I can see where you're coming from. I do know that it is biochemical warfare, and I have had people get very sick respiratory infections because of the chemtrails, and it can be proven, actually. And also they call it a chemtrail flu. So, yeah, there is stuff going on. You may not notice it in your area.
It's not a one-to-one thing, though, because I've experienced very heavy chemtrailing. And
it could be part of your DNA. Your DNA. It could just be part of your genetic makeup that some people calibrate it better than others.
Although, I'll tell you, I am Rh neg. Hey.
Well, that could be part of it, actually, believe it or not. You could be mutating on a very easy level opposed to other people getting sick.
God, thanks. I hope so.
Well, happy mutation.
And you, are you like Rh neg?
No, I have a rare blood type, though. I'd rather not say it on air because they might take me away tonight. But it is rare.
Ooh.
No, wait a second.
Blood type 2.
Weren't you telling a story about Musk going to terraform Mars?
Well, yeah, I was. And I was. Well, I saw this article about Elon Musk saying he wanted to nuke Mars to terraform it. I thought that was kind of interesting. Did you guys see that article?
I heard a little bit about it, but I didn't catch the whole
story. I don't know if it's
for
real or not. I saw it and I'm like, hey, are you kidding? So anyways, well, what can I say? There's that saying with aliens. Remember in the movie Aliens, they say, nuke it from space. It's the only way to be sure. I think that's my new motto. I don't know what to say about it anymore, Jerry. But yeah, I guess that was something he was thinking about. It's not like it hasn't been nuked before, though, according to a lot of research and a lot of different scientists who were saying that Mars was possibly nuked, which I suspect it was as well. So what your take is on that one. But yeah. So did you see that article too, Sindolo?
No, I don't think I did, and it's hard to. It's like a bad phone signal. I have like a crappy phone, and but no, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, it's well. Look it up.
I did note on my calendar that the world was going to end on the 23rd. So,
wow. Well, I'll be.
Yeah, I just put it in my notebook.
I'm not holding my breath on that. I think it would be too easy if the world were to end. Wouldn't that just
if I wake up and oh my God, today's the day.
Yeah, wouldn't it just solve everything for everybody on the timeline if we just kind of it's the world's over. Finally, all the drama's gone.
Like, credit card debt,
Yeah, it's like hasta la vista. No, I don't think it's going to be that easy.
You have to go to doctor's appointment, blah, blah, blah.
I think it'll be okay though, because if it did, the way that things work in the universe, with light speed, it'd probably be like 100 million years before we realized it. So, it'll be
Yeah,
cool.
they were off like a few decimal points.
Just make sure you round up all your bodies, Jerry, when you leave the planet, will you? Don't leave one behind. That would be a mess.
Yeah, really.
Get all those doppelgangers or whatever it is you got going there with the bilocation. Make sure you get them all. Okay, you guys have to collaborate here at this point in the illusion of space and time, and we're all going there. Let's get those subtle energy fields together, would you?
Yeah.
Well, I went through like the Y2K thing and planned accordingly. I mean, I had like a big 5 gallon.
Oh, I remember all that. I stored some water. I did.
5 gallon can of gas, in the crawl space.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the New Year's Eve gig I did with my ex. We did oh gosh, I can't which Beatles. It was like it wasn't Revolver, but it was like it wasn't the White Album. It was one of the Beatles, the whole Beatles B-side of the album that ends with the George Harrison tune, "The End of the Beginning."
Do you know
anyway,
that? I don't know that one offhand, but
I'm sure he does. But anyway, we did like the whole thing. I was thinking, and the last tune was like the end of the beginning, the end of the beginning, the end of the beginning, the end of the beginning. And I thought like it was such a heavy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out to be, well,
that was all that propaganda too.
Placed with all our like equipment like by the bathroom, and we did that, and like nothing happened, right. And we did this like very soulful end of the world medley by the Beatles, and
I think when the end happens,
see that's like what real life is. It's just.
Yeah. I think when the end of the illusion of happens, you're not going to know what hit you. That's my impression. When it's time to go, you're not going to know. You're going to be from point A, and all of a sudden you're going to be gone. And it's going to be just like that. Just like when you have an accident that you don't expect.
I totally agree. You can try to make an art piece out of it, and good luck with that. Right. You're just going to look like an idiot.
And then they worry. It's kind of like, what?
Fortunately, no one was listening, so.
Well, you come from the stars, you go back to the stars. Why is everybody afraid to go home? First of all, I'm like, what's your problem, everybody? Literally, it's okay, really. Trust me. Just enjoy your life while you're here. Try to be a good person. Get your acts together. Stop living the false matrix, and just go when your time is up in the illusion of.
Thank you for mentioning that, going home, because like there's like a whole topic in itself. Mm-hmm. And I came into chat tonight to say I just finished watching Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like so moved by it like a zillion years ago, and I'm looking at it tonight and I'm thinking, oh my God, what a massive, piece of shiznit propaganda piece. And that I'll stick by that, I mean, it's like working your emotions. It's like you're supposed to think that the ET is like God, basically, moves you to tears. This is like the truth and the light and the way. Have you watched it lately?
I haven't seen it, and I can't remember when.
Well, take a look at it again, and you'll see the propaganda that is in it.
Well, Steven Spielberg's really plugged in.
The acting is wonderful, and we all love the actors and everything, but the message is in the music a lot of the times. John
Williams was phenomenal. I got to see him live when I was younger. I loved him. I'm a musician anyway. Yeah.
But he had a job to do.
Mm-hmm.
His job was like, okay, make him believe this is God.
Yeah, he definitely moved your spirit and your soul. Music does that to people, It puts you in another orbit.
Well, he got paid to do that. It's not like he believes that like E.T. is God.
No, it's just a soundtrack, but I like his music.
Yeah. Well, of course he's a genius, and that's why he's a genius. But if you watch it, you'll see, to me, it's like the message in it is like, okay, E.T., when E.T. comes, bow down, to the great God.
I bow to no one.
Watch it. and you go, oh my God, I never saw that before. Now that you mention it.
Yeah, well, they're supplicants. People are like that, though. And that's the sad part. People will do such a thing. If they have a Project Bluebeam, they're going to be sitting there going, oh my God, it's the savior. It'll be a hybridization of a false technology, and people will eat it up. So
that's what's happening with that movie. And I think that was like the first wave of the onslaught of like E.T. is here to save you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like on the, I didn't think like E.T. was like one thing at all.
Mm-hmm.
If E.T. is here, there's probably a whole variety of E.T.
Well, we are. We're the star people.
Some are
That's
just
us.
like people. Yeah, like some of them are.
We
up
come
to
from
no
the
good,
stars.
And some of them are up to
Right.
like the holy thing. But
we're not from here.
I can't really think of any. I can't think of movies that have the opposite message. There may be many of them,
Right.
that ETs like are going to eat your mama.
Well, yeah, I think that's just a mix of a lot of things in Hollywood too. Well, it's an energy suck. Oh, we're out of time here. Thank you so much, Sindolo, and thank you, Jerry B, for joining me. Wonderful conversation. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Stay tuned for Shiny Side Out with David Dungeon-Mecki. Coming up next to Stay On to the Night.
Okay, all right.
Thank
sorry
you.
to be incoherent.
Oh, you're fine. You take care. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jerry. Everybody take care. I'll see you next week.
All right,
Thanks,
Jerry.
Solaris.
Bye.
All right, Solaris.
Bye,
Night.
Stan.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Love you too.